Recapped here. Today I'm going to show you a British romantic comedy drama called Cashback. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. Aspiring artist Ben Willis develops insomnia after a painful breakup with his girlfriend Susie. She even went on to start another relationship with another man, much to Ben's disappointment. Ben recalls the breakup to be as devastating as a car crash. For him, time slowed down after Susie went on a rage after hearing that he wanted to break up with her. During lunch, Ben spots Susie with her new boyfriend, Steve, as he settles on a lone table. He is later joined by his friend Sean, who asks about his breakup with Susie. Ben explains that Susie was always looking for something better, whether it's a better party or a better boyfriend to move on to. Since Ben doesn't think that he can make her happy, he chooses to break things off with her. In response, Sean suggests that Ben should date a beautiful girl, explaining that this would make Susie jealous and she'd try to win Ben back. Later on, Ben attends one of his art classes, and in this class, he is given the task to sketch a nude male model. While beginning his sketch, he catches the eye of a beautiful girl sitting across from him, and soon he finds himself sketching the outline of her jaw, the curve of her lips, and her big, beautiful eyes. His concentration is interrupted by his art teacher, who encourages him to focus on the model in front of them, as it would be rude not to draw him. During the next few days, it becomes clear that Ben isn't taking the breakup well. He loses sleep over it, and now he has the whole day to think about his failed relationship with Susie. To make things worse, Ben is overcome by the sounds of lovemaking and moans that permeate through the walls of his dorm room, further pushing him into the reality that he is now all alone. He calls Susie on one occasion and asks her if there's any chance of them getting back together again, to which she replied, no. Ben even asks her if she has spent time with Steve and if his sex with her was better than theirs. Susie tells him she doesn't want to have the conversation with him and ends the call. To take his mind off Susie and to occupy the extra waking hours he has recently gained, Ben reads a lot of books and tries to occupy himself with random things. On one occasion, he goes into a supermarket to buy stuff and see that there's a sign up looking for employees. Ben decides to make money with all the extra hours he has, and at the same time, it would take his mind off Susie. Killing two birds with one stone, he begins working at a local Sainsbury's supermarket where he meets colorful coworkers. This supermarket consists of one boss, a cashier, and two men who like to mess around. Including Ben, they have a total of 6 people. Among them is his colleague Sharon, with whom he soon develops a mutual crush. In the morning, Ben goes to school, and at night he gets to work and get through his misery. During his night shift, Ben is seen staring at a spilled bag of beans for a considerable amount of time. His employer Jenkins walks past and notices this, scolding Ben. This jerks him up from his catatonic state, but he is once again distracted by a beautiful lady reaching for something while her shorts are lifted, revealing her undergarments. At this point, Ben thinks about how much he loves painting the female form. To him, there's some kind of power the female body holds, and most women carry this unknowingly. A series of flashbacks occur with each progression of the plot, accompanied by Ben's narration and examination of the effect the situation had had upon him. He explains how he had always been impressed by the beauty of the female body, how he, as a young boy, witnessed a Swedish border walk naked from the shower to her room. In another flashback, the young Ben and his best friend Sean share Sean's discovery of his parents' adult magazines, and Sean pays a neighborhood girl called Natalie 50 pence to show him her vulva. Other neighborhood boys repeat this trade. At this point, Jenkins slaps Ben, promoting him to clean up the bag of spilled beans. As Ben becomes accustomed to his new job, he notes how each of his coworkers passes time. Sharon, the cashier lady, avoids looking at the clock as it is the greatest enemy. According to Sharon, time slows down when you're actively conscious of it. Then there's Barry Brick, who approaches the situation differently. Brick's mastered the art of doing anything besides work. His friend and coworker Matt Stevens are also in tandem with his foolish misdemeanor. One of their pastime recreation is slipping adult toys in the shopping bags of women at the supermarket. Once they are at the checkout counter, Barry and Matt would curiously watch if some of the women would purchase the adult toy. When some of them do purchase it, it would put a smile on their faces. The only one who doesn't participate in the art of time passing is their boss, Jenkins. He relishes every moment talking ceaselessly about his life to the board of employees. As his personal means to escape the boredom inherent in the night shift, Ben lets his imagination run wild. In particular, he imagines that he can stop time so that he can walk around in a world that is frozen, like the pause of a film. He imagines female patrons of the supermarket stopped in time, allowing him to undress and draw them. Finally, The ability to stop time becomes real. One day he realizes that he could actually freeze time. Everything and everybody stands still, and only he is capable of walking around. His dream is to become an artist, and he does this by drawing the girls he encounters at the supermarket. During Ben's world of frozen time, he would frequently disrobe the beautiful women in the supermarket, and on each aisle, he would sketch their bodies one by one, fully focused on their bare beauty. When he was ready, all Ben needed to do was crack his fingers, and he could return time to its normal pace. During another night shift, Ben encounters Sharon in the locker room. The cute Sharon takes a bite out of Ben's sandwich, and a piece of pickle sticks to her cheeks. Ben awkwardly tries to tell her to wipe it off, but she kept missing it. He then meekly wipes the pickle himself, and they share a smile before Sharon leaves the locker room. Sometime later, Ben finds out that Matt had asked Sharon out, and he is disappointed. He notes how strange it is that the word crush is used for both attraction and heavy disappointment. Ben then recalls all the crushes he had had in his life. His main crush was a girl named Tanya in elementary school. Tanya had gotten into an accident that ended with a cast on her arm, and what started his crush on her was how she handled the cast with faultless grace. The day that Tanya got her cast off, she was bullied by her classmates because the hair on her arm had overgrown. Ben approached when she was crying and cheered her up. Ben then proceeded to ask her if she would be his girlfriend, to which she promptly agreed. One day after school, Tanya approached Ben for what would be their first kiss, but Ben postponed to the next day. Unfortunately, Tanya and her parents relocated to America the next day. Ben's boss, Alan Jenkins, recruits the staff for a weekend football game after an embarrassing defeat 26-0. A ball hits Jenkins square in the face as Matt tried to pass the ball to him. A bleeding Jenkins is rushed to the hospital by Matt, and the other teammates go home, leaving Ben and Sharon alone. They stop at a nearby diner and the two of them get to know each other better. Ben then asks Sharon if she was in a relationship with Matt. She says no, adding that they only went to the theater once to see a movie as friends. Ben also discovers that Matt didn't sleep with Sharon, as he had previously claimed, and this news makes Ben happy. That night, the two catch a fondness for each other and he walks her home. Ben messes up their first kiss as he awkwardly kisses her on the cheeks instead. Ben freezes time again. This time he discovers that he is not alone when he sees a mysterious stranger who can move inside the frozen world as he can. When Jenkins throws a party to honor his birthday, and as a consolation for the defeat, Sharon asks Ben to be her date, to which he eagerly but nervously agrees. Later on, Jenkins tasks Ben with hiring a surprise stripper for his party, and to do this, he needs Sean's help, and in exchange, Ben would take him to the party. All this time, the only thing Ben can think about is Sharon. He imagines Sharon in a corner shrouded in darkness lit only by a glowing pole. Sharon dances around the pole provocatively while staring into Ben's eyes, donned in a sexy black ensemble. The night before the party, Sharon kisses Ben after they had a conversation in the locker room, and the gravity and importance of that kiss could only be stated, as it is the only thing that makes Ben sleep. That evening, Ben sleeps into the next afternoon, having been awake for 4 straight weeks. On the night of the party, Ben encounters Natalie, who is now a stripper, as well as his ex-girlfriend Susie, who implores him to try the relationship again. Ben refuses her advance, but she kisses him, just as Sharon witnesses from afar. Sharon angrily leaves the party. Ben realizes Sharon has seen the kiss and freezes time. After spending several days frozen, Ben concludes that although he can stop time, he cannot reverse it to correct the mistake. He eventually seeks to explain himself to Sharon at her apartment, and a confrontation similar to the film opening breakup occurs. Sharon henceforth does not show up to work at the supermarket. As a practical joke, colleagues Barry and Matt phone Ben. Matt poses as an art gallery owner who is interested in displaying Ben's drawings and schedules an appointment for Ben to present more to him. When Ben arrives as agreed, the reaction of the owner quickly reveals that he has been pranked. However, the gallery owner is nonetheless interested in Ben's work and decides to exhibit Ben's drawings. Sharon receives an invitation to the exhibition and visits. She is moved as most of the pieces depict her, and she happily greets Ben, congratulating him on his success. The finale occurs as Ben shares his ability to stop time with her, and the two step outside into a time-frozen snowfall.